All right, so we are live, and hopefully we'll get some people filling in here and asking us some questions. This is a freelance duck hunting live chat. I think this is the third one that we've done. So here's the idea. I brought in Dan, and thought that if you guys want to ask us questions, we can answer any questions that you have, whether for Dan or for myself. And as the questions pop up, we'll just go through them. If there's no questions, then Dan, well, you and I will just talk about hunting and whatnot. So is the video over? No, the video is not over. The video has just begun. Hunting, fishing, Missouri. We just started. So any questions? We did have a few questions come in actually before the live chat started. But if you have a specific question for myself or for Dan, make sure that you say who it's for, or if it's just a general question that you want us both to answer, that we can do that too. I'm assuming most people that drop in here will be subscribers, but if you haven't subscribed, make sure and do that. And if you've never checked us out over at Partreon, I'll leave a link in the description afterwards. You can do that as well. And as far as the store. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start right from the top. Number one, do you shoot divers? That is V8 Outdoors, who's actually from our same state.
Yeah.
And he wants to know, do we shoot divers? If divers come through, we will shoot them. We don't actively target divers. We don't diver hunt, but we will certainly shoot them.
What's the ones that make the whistling noise?
The goldeneye.
Those are my favorite.
Dan loves the goldeneye. I really love redheads. I really love scop, like ringnecks.
Scop's beautiful.
But we just don't get that many opportunities. I've shot, I think, 2 redheads this year, and that's it. We just haven't had many opportunities for it. So let's see. Next question is, what subject do you teach at school? I am an elementary school teacher, and I have taught 18 years of elementary, grades 2 through 5. I've had years where I've only taught math, years I've only taught reading. Right now I'm teaching it all.
You taught them about ducks once, didn't you?
Yeah, when teal season starts coming around and I'm getting really excited, we always do research on blue-winged teal, and the kids are, and I show them some of the videos, some of them I don't, but so anyway. And you want to tell them what you do for a living?
I'm a substance abuse therapist.
So if you have any major addictions that you need help with, this is the guy.
Come and talk to me. Right about now, we'll be talking about ducks as well, too, no matter what. So
you intertwine ducks into your addiction.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So how might that look? Okay, let's say so. I'm an alcoholic and I'm on meth.
Well, it's kind of like this. Hold on. I'll find it right here. I show them the video, and I'll be like, you notice how this person just continually just kind of see how he's blaming his father for everything. See that? See, that's what we
You're not talking about me, are you?
That's what we call self-deception. All right. Now we all have it.
I do not blame him for everything. I blame him for the things that he needs blame in, which happens to me almost everything. All right. So let's move on here. And if I miss your question, make sure and repost it, because hopefully there'll be a bunch of them on here. We're already up to 43 viewers, which is more than we've typically had with the pre-announcement. So, all right, what's up next? How do we set up our decoys? That is really too in-depth of a question really to cover here. We set them up really we set them up variable on lots of different conditions. There is a video over in Freelance Discussions where I talk all about decoy placement. We like U's, we like J's, but last time we used kind of 2 pods, and that worked really well.
2 groups. That was really cool. I will keep that under my belt somewhere. That was yeah, if you remember, we had 1 group on the right, 1 group on the left, and the spinner was right in the middle of both groups.
Ooh, here's a good one. This is specifically for Dan. Virginia Outdoors Unlimited says, Dan, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made duck hunting or hunting in general?
I killed 2 geese with a rake once. Would that count as something?
Can you repeat that?
I killed 2 geese with a rake.
Okay.
I was a lifeguard, and there were geese, and they were flying into the bathing area. And since I was a lifeguard at a state beach, the E. coli form was too high, and
then the blooms or something, like,
yeah, because they're pooping in the lake, so you couldn't swim in it, right? So they were going to shut down the lake. I was going to lose my job. So I took a rake, a big beach combing rake, and I threw it in this gaggle of geese, right? And I really thought they were going to fly away, but their necks stick out, so it took out 2 of them.
Yeah. And you actually had to talk to an officer, didn't you?
I had to talk to a ranger, and the ranger like came up the next day, and he had his hand behind his back. He started walking up to me, and I thought he was going to grab his handcuffs, you know, and be like, "He's cool, we're under arrest, right?" And he was just tucking his shirt in, and then he shook my hand. He was like, "Good job."
Really?
Yeah, because everyone was going to lose their job. They were going to lay off these people because the water count
Two
was
geese with one sling of
two
a
geese.
rake.
Like a helicopter blade, just took them out. And honestly, that was the first time I ever ate goose meat.
You actually ate them?
I ate them, yeah, absolutely.
Bravo.
Oh, yeah, and it was so good. It was so good. And I thought I'd never get a chance to do that again.
So after our last hunt, we've got a lot of goose meat here at the house. And if Dan is lucky, Beth might bring him a goose Philly cheesesteak sandwich in a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's good.
I was against it because Dan's going to slop food all over himself and all over my computer. But
Usually.
I was overruled, so whatever. All right, moving on. Jake, I don't know how to say the last name. What kind of divers have you shot? Flip forward. What kind of divers have you shot? Redheads, not this year, but in general, redheads, scop, canvasback. I mean, pretty much all of them.
Is that question coming out because divers are like the norm in real cold weather?
Well, you definitely get more divers when it's cold.
Okay.
You definitely get more divers when it's cold. So I'm trying to navigate this.
I like who's shooting average is better.
Larry says, what phone number do I call? Larry, if you have a question, just go ahead and post the question here, and I'll make sure and get to it. So if you have a question, just post it. I'm not sure what you mean by what phone number do you call. Do you think ducks are going to come back up in this warmer weather? Yes. Well, first of all, trail shooter, I don't know what state that you're in, but here in Kansas, the ducks never, ever actually all get out of the state unless you get super cold temperatures and 8 inches of snow blanketing the state. Then you might get them all down to Oklahoma. But as soon as you get south winds and as soon as you get a warm up, they'll be right back up here. In fact, the best numbers that we have are after deep freezes with ice. You get a warm up and the ice comes off and the ducks migrate back up north, and you get thousands of them around. So right now we're in that pattern. We're having a warm up, and as soon as these marshes lose the ice, they'll be covered with ducks.
Really?
They'll be covered with ducks. So they absolutely at this time of year, they come north, they go south, and they kind of follow the ice line.
That's what you said. You said they follow the ice line.
Yep.
Someday we're going to just be driving around retired, following ice lines all over the country.
Yeah, that would be nice. If we could give up our day jobs and just hunt, we could put a lot more content. So Patreon.
That's 508 Maple Lane. Check cash.
Quit our jobs.
No.
All right, Dan, how many ducks have you shot? Let's just start with this year. How many ducks have you shot this year?
I think I'm in the 20s.
I got
20s.
I got Dan started on a spreadsheet this year, so he's kind of tracking his information. And we had a really rough November, as you guys saw. We didn't shoot that many in November. We had great September and decent October, rough November, but things are really starting to heat back up. So we're a little bit below our normal. At this point in time, I would normally have about 50, even maybe 60 ducks, and I'm sitting at about 35 right now.
And I was reluctant. I really didn't want to do the spreadsheet because I thought it would bring more pressure, but it makes it more fun.
Yeah,
it makes it a lot more challenging too in some respects.
Yep. What is your next hunt? Owen says. Dan has been bogged down in work, so he hasn't been able to go. But tomorrow, the Golden Boy, Corn, myself, and old Fumble Mitts are going to be hunting, and we've got a spot picked out that Corn scouted it today. So we're going in the morning. We're going in the morning. I'm off for winter break, so I'm going to be hunting on tomorrow, the 27th and the 30th.
Sure.
Dan's going to get it on the 30th. So I have a hunting addiction, Dan. Can you help me? Says Colby.
You and me both. Where do we go?
Yeah.
Let's go to a meeting. Wait, we have to admit powerlessness and unmanageability.
Now, Colby, I don't know how old you are, but if you have a girlfriend and you're not married yet, or even if you are married, you need to go over to the Freelance discussions, because my mom and I did a video about how to navigate your women around duck hunting. And so that's what you want to do with your hunting addiction. You want to make sure you get to actually just throw yourself into that addiction.
Yeah, did I tell you, my wife, she scheduled piano lessons for my kid on Saturday morning.
On purpose.
Yeah.
See, Dan doesn't see, but you don't follow the tips I gave I gave all these tips for how you deal, how you treat, no, you don't, how you treat your wife or your girlfriend around hunting. So one of the best.
There's been a lot of sleeping in on Sundays.
Yes.
I'll tell you that.
So here is the number one tip for you for your addiction and keeping your woman happy. If you get home from a hunt and she wants to go out that night, you say yes. Have you been doing that this year?
A little bit. It's the next day.
I know you haven't, because she's griped to Beth about it. See, you guys got to go watch that video. It's on Freelance Discussions, and it's about something about. It's my mom and I did it about how to keep your woman happy.
You know what? Maybe I do have an addiction, because that's a negative consequence that I refuse to accept. So
Colby, I would say go watch that video. Make sure that you have the right
things are fine
woman, the right wife, then you're knowing how to handle that, so she'll let you go as much as you want.
You know what? I don't need this job. I can go hunting tomorrow with you.
Grant says, how would you contribute wind when setting up decoys? You want me to take that? Or you want to take
what? No, what?
Wind and decoys.
Wind? Oh, wait. How about I try this and you correct me if I'm wrong?
All right, go for it.
Okay, so spinner, the little beak of the spinner faces the wind, blowing at it, right? Yeah. And okay, I don't know. I like the J. You never use the J.
So with the wind, you just make sure that the ducks are always going to land into the wind. So you want to make sure that your decoys are set up in a way that the ducks can land right into the wind and have a good shot. The worst case scenario is that they're coming over your head and down into the decoys, because mallards, as they come over your head, will see you. And so you'd want to try to avoid them swinging over your head, basically.
And so if you're going to make the J, the hook of the J is actually kind of cupping the wind, right? So that they land right into, they follow this long pattern of little trail of happy little ducks swimming to like the little pile of J, like where the J's cupped, right? And then
you direct your traffic with the spinner.
That's what I like doing, and I think you kind of you're reluctant to do that, because I'll take some of your decoys and I'll throw them way out there as like a pull, like a trail. But the worry is that they all land way out there.
Yeah, right? That's something I'm really trying to improve on, is putting decoys out of shooting range, because I think that can be really productive and good. And I don't want to do it.
It's like art to me.
Yeah,
it's like, even if ducks don't land, I'm like, oh.
And honestly, I consider decoy placement to be a weakness of mine, because in the dark everything looks closer than or farther away than it actually is, and so I'm constantly setting the decoys up too close to us, and we have to change them around, and I cannot seem to get over that. So
then it just breaks down into.
Yeah, I know the principles of how to set them up. It's like when I get there in the morning in the dark, no matter what, I always seem to screw it up. Yeah. All right, moving on. Jacob Calloway says, "Where's Fumbles at?" Fumbles is at home. I think he should be on here talking. I thought he was going to join us, but he's at home right now. He hunted all day long with the Golden Boy and the Golden Boy's dad, and they only shot 4. They had a great scout setup. They had the Golden Boy, and another reason why I call this kid the Golden Boy. He calls last night. He's like, okay, I'm checking the spot. There's hundreds and hundreds of ducks pouring in.
Last night.
Yeah, he's just the Golden Boy.
He called me up and he's just like, don't worry, Dan. We'll find a time to hunt.
I know.
He texts me. I'm like,
the kid is amazing.
I love this kid.
But we've had about 4 times this year now where we have had ducks scouted and the day before, and they're thick, and we go in there and hunt, and we don't do very well. So they only shot 4 today. They shot 2 drakes, a hooded merganser, and a gadwall. And this has been a big frustration of mine, is that when I give other people the camera, things seems to break down. So they took the camera, and I was texting old Fumbles constantly. He texts me like, oh, we shot a mallard drake, and my next text is always video ? Silence. I don't think so. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Which happened to the Golden Boy last time. If you guys watched the goose hunt that we had, where I had 2 huge honkers just right down in.
I rest on mechanical error.
He didn't hit the record button.
It's mechanical error. It's just
anyway.
Too sensitive.
I don't know how to say that name. Ray Joe's best way to eat duck. Actually, I think my wife is going to serve Dan a Philly cheesesteak goose sandwich here in about 10 minutes. I think that is the absolute best way to do it.
So I guess a short answer would be cut it thinly.
Yeah.
At the very least.
Yeah. When I make those Phillies, I cut them very thickly. They're like that. or big like steak grilled. And again, if you guys have these questions, I've got a playlist that's freelance discussions. And during the off season, I hit all these topics that you guys are talking about: decoy placement, favorite recipes. They're only about 5-minute videos. If you guys haven't had a chance to go check those out, when I'm done, I'll put a link to those. But I've got, I don't know, there's like 20, 25 discussion videos at this point, and they really don't get watched that much.
I need to add to the ghillie suit the major flaw in a ghillie suit.
Yeah.
In duck hunting. Major flaw.
And what's that?
Well, if anybody comments on it, I'll tell them. You know what it is, right?
Yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah.
Every time I touch the little button, it's like the comments just like flip. So if I miss some, we're trying to go straight down the list.
What is that? Is that someone's going to Germany?
No, that's Arkansas.
Oh.
Fowl Outdoor says he's going to Stuttgart. Can you give me any shooting advice? You know, have you watched our videos? You watch shooting advice?
Yeah, right.
Have you seen? You know, don't miss. My shooting advice for you is don't miss.
If I had to ask anybody for shooting advice, it would be Fumbles. It would be Carl. I don't know. Like, the one thing that will always stand out to me in the way that he shoots is one hunt last year. I was just kind of just looking off, completely distracted, and in most of my peripheral, I saw Carl just kind of like just messing around with his coffee or something.
Yeah, fumbling, yeah.
And then a duck came, and it was just like just back to like, and it just fell into the air. When he's on it,
he just doesn't pull the trigger very often.
Yeah, but when he pulls the trigger, it's going down. It's going down.
All right. Tone 230 says, what do you think the most important motion decoy for a beginner past a jerk string, and why? I think it's just a standard mojo, don't you?
The jerk, what?
He said after the jerk rig, what's the most important motion? Just be a regular old spinner. I mean, constantly, spinners are actually starting to get a bad name where there's like this kind of counter movement going against spinners, but I cannot tell you how many times the ducks try to land right on the spinner.
But have you seen Aiden's spinner?
Yeah, I like that one.
If you guys have noticed Aiden's, this last 2 videos, I think we've used Aiden's spinner, right? That is the next spinner I'm going to buy, because I think that if these ducks are going to get wise, they're going to get wise to the traditional, the cheaper mojo that everybody wants to buy, including myself. I'm going to spring the money for that $85 float on the water, move around on the water with the spinning wings, and that's nice where to go. Yeah. And you don't have to worry about a pull.
Yeah, those are nice.
And jerk rig, I think, has to be in our, no matter what, one of us has to have a jerk rig.
Yeah. I hate jerk rigs because they're always in the way and they're hard to move.
I think if you have ADD, get a jerk rig.
Gives you something to do.
Like, just
major ADD. Major.
I take medicine, okay? It's managed.
All right. Larry says, don't you take phone calls on the live Q&A? No, I don't give out my personal number, but questions here is just where we're going to ask them. So I'm not dying, Larry, to give out my personal number to the whole world.
I'm sure 5th graders need to learn how to.
I do give my parents phone number. But Larry, if you have a question, make sure and
call Fumbles.
And you know what, Larry, you actually have my phone number. So if you have a question, you want to call me on the phone and ask me the question, you go ahead. We'll put it on speaker and you can ask questions. So
you know what?
Larry's actually a personal friend. So.
I would actually give out my number because I put my number on Craigslist so many times.
What's your number?
913.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, that I have. Hey, is that toolbox still for sale? Like, I have so many people who know my number.
All right, so here comes. You're gonna give everyone your phone number.
913-271-2627.
And feel free to blow that up with text. Say hi to Dan.
I wonder what that spells. I hope it spells something.
Okay,
cool.
We're gonna move on. Right. Sunny where do you find those hats? FreelanceDuckHunting.com. You got this hat, that hat, and shirts. Next year, we're certainly gonna have camo hats. I think we made a mistake in not
camo trucker hat?
I saw these hats and I love trucker hats. And I was like, I don't care. I want that hat. I've got camo hats. That's what I want.
And one of the first things I said was, so when are we going to get camo hats?
Yeah, I know. People want camo hats. But you can get these hats at Freelance Duck Hunting, at freelanceduckhunting.com. And they're not all expensive. I think they're like $24 or something. And shirts as well. But next year we're gonna have, I'm hoping, beanies, hoodies, and Camo Max hats. So we're going to take a quick break here. This is what I consider to be the very best way to make either ducks or geese. Oh, look, you already have a phone call. Let's see who it is.
All right.
Put it on speaker.
Hey, you're live with Freelance Duck Hunting. Hello. Hello. You're live with Freelance Duck Hunting. What's your name?
I can't hear you.
Oh. Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
What's up? Who are you?
And there's another call.
All right, I can hear you now.
All right. What's up, man? Who are you? Where are you from?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Now, what's the duck scene like over there?
Well,
What's the duck scene like over there in Tennessee?
seem like they're the same ducks, I think.
What else?
All right, man. I appreciate you calling. You can take this off. I want to keep rolling with the
I
questions.
all right.
can't hear you.
All right.
Bye.
I'll tell you what. My guess is you're going to be getting a lot of phone calls.
Oh,
so
no.
anyway, we're not going to be answering any more calls.
Oh, no.
on there. That is something certainly we could look into trying. That might be actually kind of fun to try that. So maybe we'll try it. So anyway, back to the Philly. This is just a Philly cheesesteak,
So
except
cute.
and Dan's phone is just blowing up. This is a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, and just made with goose. It can also be made with duck, and it is absolutely positively my very favorite
Beth, what did you put in this?
very favorite way to make wild game. So moving on, sunny or cloudy days. Matt Johnson wants to know sunny or cloudy days. I know that everyone out there, like the new fad, it started about 5. I really started hearing about 5-7 years ago. It's like, oh, sunny bluebird days, sunny bluebird days, sunny bluebird days. And a lot of time what happens is people just start regurgitating the same stuff. I can't tell any difference. When there's a lot of ducks in the area and I'm set up right and I'm concealed right, I shoot ducks. I've never, ever felt like, that sunny days made some huge difference over cloudy days. I know that's what people are saying, but that's just not something.
You know what? Even in deer hunting, even when I'm hunting deer or anything, when it's like misty and foggy and overcast, I just have a better feeling for some reason.
Yeah. I had one day where it started off cloudy. I was shooting ducks. All the clouds completely went away, and it was completely sunny and totally nice and calm out there. And I didn't shoot anything until cloud cover came back, and I finished up my limit about half an hour. So I don't know. I think the most important part is that there's ducks there and that you're in the right spot, and that's really all I worry about.
What about the guy who's like, oh, it's snowing?
I love hunting in snow for sure.
Do they come more?
I don't know. I know that I've had good luck in rain as well. Another favorite way to cook duck, just answered that. Cooking duck tips and pointers. All right, well, we've gone over that too. Oh, Ryder says, did Dan get sick after eating the pig teat? I would have eaten it too. It looked delicious. Ryder think that looked delicious. Now, but first of all, we have a little controversy about this because the pig teat, if you have not seen, I think that's hunt number 5 from this year. If you go to the playlist, that's a teal hunt. Anyway, Dan brought pig udder.
I didn't mean to. It was supposed to be bacon.
Okay, so he brings this pig udder and he's going to eat it, right? And so he goes to this whole space and eat, and I thought he'd eaten the whole thing. Right at the end of the hunt, I look over and Izzy has the entire thing in her mouth trying to eat it. She rejected it. It was like rubberized tar.
Oh, it was so good.
But okay, so
she didn't reject it. She ate it.
She was struggling because it was like rubber. So later, I literally took the whole thing away from her. He tells me that he ate a bunch of it, but from what I can tell, you ate almost none.
It was crunchy.
I saw that one bite,
and because I put it all up in my ramen noodles.
He put his
by the way,
pig teat in his ramen noodles.
Is your stove still broke?
No, I don't think so.
I thought I messed it up with all.
No, I've used it since.
Yeah, good.
So he put the pig teat in the ramen noodles, and he cooked the ramen noodles. I had a can of ravioli, and I ate the ravioli. He took the can of ravioli, rinsed it out in the marsh water. Which, if you watch that video, there's one footage of that you can see like little critters swimming. He washed it out in the marsh water.
It gets sterilized. It all gets warm anyway,
Put
right?
the ramens into it. and then added pig teat into the ramens, and that was his
so
breakfast.
good.
Oh, it was
like
not good.
collagen and like just look. Who's the cook here? I'm the cook. All right.
Yeah.
And if you have a little bit of pig teat, it's good luck in some countries. I don't know.
Okay.
I messed up. It was the wrong package.
Oh man, there's something I really want to say. I can't remember. I'll think of it in a second. All right, what brand decoys we use? Says Fowl Outdoors. We've got a mix and match of
Garage sale decoys. Those are my
decoys.
favorite.
I think the consensus among a lot of people I've talked to is that G&H hold up real well. I know that Fouled Reality did a really cool video on durability of duck decoys, and I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that too. They've started that Wednesday foul thing or whatever. But they put all 5 or 6 different decoys through a series of tests. So I would watch, if you want to know what kind of decoys get, I'd watch that.
Who has foam decoys and do you like them?
Yeah, those are hard to get, aren't they?
I don't know. I got a bunch of Teal at Cabela's, and they're all foam filled, and we can shoot them up as much as we want now. They'll always float.
God,
this is good.
Let's see what else we got here. Kind of this is kind of hard to scroll. This thing's not quite scrolling properly.
But you know what? If you want to get decoys, if you want to get into duck hunting, it's expensive. And if you have cash, I mean, who has cash? But if you got cash, Craigslist, you can find a lot of really good decoys, blinds on Craigslist.
So if I've missed your question, the problem that I'm having is that there's so many comments getting that I'm trying to go straight down the list, but every now and then I hit it and it just like jumps forward. So I'm doing my best. Oh, Aiden says, oh, that's the Golden Boy, actually. Aiden needs to change it to the Golden Boy. All right, anyway, what is the major flaw with the ghillie suit?
Okay, I'll let the cat out of the bag.
And how do you use the restroom with the ghillie suit?
Well, that's easy.
Raid Joe's.
Just let it go. I mean, you're in the marsh anyway. So.
Well, it's just more like a shawl. I mean,
yeah, no, it covers you completely. Well, it goes to like my mid waist. So because I ordered an extra large, but it's the cockleburrs.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what you call them?
Yeah. If you get into cocklebur, which we got into cockleburs bad this year.
Tons and tons. So it's like wearing Velcro. So everything sticks to it. Every piece of seed and cotton, and like I have to take my ghillie suit now and take it to a power washer, and I don't even think that'll work. Right? What am I going to do?
You got to pick them out one at a time.
That's crazy.
I know.
My kids. I asked one of my kids to do it for $5. She's like, not even for $5. I'm gonna do that.
All right. Adam Jones says, would you categorize yourself as an aggressive caller or more laid back? I'm definitely more of a laid back caller.
Laid back.
I do not think that just highballing and screaming at ducks works at all. If they're way out there or if they're going away, I'll scream at them if I don't think they're going to come in. But if I don't highball and scream at ducks at all.
But to completely armchair quarterback, you're calling. And by the way, I don't know how to call very well. There is a sense of like nervousness you get when they get really close. Just not all the time, but every now and then I feel like you're trying to maintain a particular tone. You get really excited and it goes, wah! And that's tough. That's a tough thing.
Yeah, I don't consider myself a fantastic caller or anything, but definitely laid back. I like to do what's called calling on what I call calling them on the corners, where I want to bring them towards us with some soft stuff. And as they swing, if they get out in that circle, I try to think about if I hit them with a little bit more of aggressive call and they flip around immediately, will they be in line to land? And so I'll try to judge that. And that's pretty effective.
Less is more, right?
Yeah, less is more. All right. Shoot to answer the question.
Shells.
Hats and that.
Shells. Somebody asked about shells. I bought 1,700 FPS shells. And I'm pretty excited about them. 1,700 feet per second, number 2s.
That's fast.
Yeah, but
it's fast.
Don't ask me how much it costs, though.
My mom says you guys are cute. Do women stalk you? My wife stalks me. Does your wife stalk you?
Oh yeah, all the time. Sure. if
I see Bumblemitz has dropped in.
Ever killed a black duck?
No, I've never seen a black duck. Yeah, if you want to text those questions into Dan, that works great.
What is a black duck?
A black duck. I don't know their full range, but I know you get them more on the East Coast. but they're more, they look like a hen mallard, except they're really a dark, kind of almost dark brown. They're really beautiful. I've never even seen a black
I've
duck.
heard about the
Never
black
seen
duck. You just think like it's death, like the black duck of death. Like when it's a black
Yeah,
duck.
they're awesome looking. I've never even seen one. What's your favorite gun? I like my Outlander A300. I know Dan bought one. The problem with the Outlander that I have, and I've got a video on this topic as well over on the discussion videos, but the Outlander, if it's cold out and you get moisture in it, it's going to freeze and lock up, and that's a pretty significant problem.
But oh my gosh, does the 870 have a flaw?
Yeah, Aiden's didn't you?
Aiden's
Yeah,
got all
Aiden's
messed
having
up.
major issues.
I'm going to trade out my 870 guts with his and see if something works on his gun.
Well, I think he's got some ideas on it. There were some really good comments on the last video. Aiden was having the problem Aiden's having with his 870 Golden Boy is that he shoots one shot and the extractor's not pulling that shell out, and so that's the problem. Yeah.
How could that happen? I'm surprised your gun works.
Why is that?
Because you'll take your gun. I mean, you treat it like a tool. All right. Everybody in the world, when they buy a rifle or a shotgun, they baby it and like give it a name and like tuck it in at night, right?
It's a duck hunting gun.
You. I think I saw you push your kayak off once with your gun.
I didn't do
You
that.
throw it in there.
I
There's
have
a
a
sense
duck.
of freedom in it.
I have a duck hunting gun. I want to treat it like a duck hunting gun. I don't want to baby it. It's a piece of equipment. Those are tough, but those are tough guns.
They're tough.
So Larry says, we still don't have normal duck numbers in central Kansas. Are you seeing normal numbers where you're at? Yeah, we've got big numbers actually here, Larry. We've got some of the posts and the reports in this area. And what we're seeing also is that we've got plenty of, we've got about, I think, as many ducks as I would expect us to have right now. So we're doing pretty
You're
well.
right. It's a lot different than last season.
Yeah. And Larry,
Or
if
a
you
little
want to
different.
travel this way, we're hunting the 27th and the 30th, also through January on weekends. If you want to travel up this way and hunt with us at some point, call me and we'll work something out.
You know what I've always wanted to do?
Larry can shoot. That guy doesn't miss.
I've heard
He
about
doesn't miss.
that.
Larry Fry, he's the one that was hunting with us on our hunt trip on, I don't remember what number it was, but one of the hunt trips. And we shot like 13 ducks that day because Larry was killing everything he shot at.
Yeah.
Had he not been there, I'd have been like, well, we shot like 6. Well, I don't think he shot that many, but he shot his limit. I mean, he was just raining them. It was crazy.
I want to know more about these people who do it on like the ocean, on the bay, or they'll do it in some area.
There's Dan's phone.
You ever seen that ocean duck?
Roy says, thought that Corn and Dan were the same person. No, Corn's actually coming out tomorrow. Corn is the redheaded feller from Corn Shire Farms.
Those are shoes I cannot fill. I cannot be as funny as Corn. Sorry. I think we've got a
Tom Melton said, do you prefer layout boat blinds or just blinds? Tom, anytime that you can lower your profile in a layout, it's preferable. It's certainly harder to shoot out of, but we don't ever use big boxy boat blinds. If I can shoot out of a regular blind that we've made on the shore, I would love to do that because it's so much easier to shoot. When you're laying down and you have to do a sit up before you shoot, the timing's harder, shouldering the gun is harder. I've shot really, really well this year, except for the 5 hunts that we were actually layout hunting, and I shot terrible on those hunts.
You said the other day that you're going to practice shooting skeet laying down.
Mm-hmm.
And, excuse me, I tried that this last summer, and I almost shot my foot off. So be very careful, all right? Especially if it's a brand new gun, all right?
The Hungry Hunter, what is better, do you think, 12, 16, or 20? If you're young, 20. If you're an adult and you can handle it, a 12 definitely is the waterfowl gun you want to go with. Do you want the wind at your back or the wind at your face? You want the wind at your back so the ducks are landing into you, or side wind. Side wind is actually better because the ducks aren't looking directly at you. Cloudy and rainy and wind. Yeah, Tom, I like that too.
Bluebird days. There's another bluebird day.
Have you ever killed a cinnamon teal? The hunting page wants to know. I've seen a cinnamon teal.
You saw I thought you shot it. Didn't you shoot one?
I thought I did. I shot, and I actually talked to Larry about that and asked him, and he didn't. He kind of thought maybe it wasn't, but I've shot a couple of. Well, let me go back for a second. During teal season, if cinnamon teal are in the area, you can't tell the difference because they don't plume out and get their full colors until much later on. So if I've shot a cinnamon teal during teal season, I wouldn't even know. I saw on the migration back up, I saw a perfectly beautifully plumed out cinnamon teal drake with some blue wings. But I have shot a couple of teal that have a little bit more dark color to them during teal season, and I thought maybe those were cinnamon teal, but we certainly don't hardly get any in the area.
And on the subject of teal, what I'm learning is blue wings stick around, green wings leave. Right?
Opposite.
Green wings stick around, blue wings leave.
Yeah, we get green wings. In fact, we've been on that one of our last couple months. We've been shooting quite a few green wings. So green wing will be here in the winter. You won't see another blue wing until March.
How many bands have you shot?
Oh, I missed that one. I have shot 2 bands, and Bumblements has shot 1. One band I shot was banded in Pennsylvania, and one was in Saskatchewan. They were both mallard drakes.
You know what I'd like to see? If you guys just want to, if any of you have bands, just comment just the number. I just want to see how many people actually have bands.
I am going to do a video on, because you see these guys with like lanyards, and it's just like 60 bands,
like bullets just all over the place.
And you know what? I don't know what's going on with this, because I'm gonna do the statistics on this. I'm gonna calculate. I love numbers and statistics. And I'll probably put Fumblements on this because he's a real.
He's good with that. Huh?
He's way better than I am. How many ducks there are that come through a particular flyway? What percentage are they banded?
Yeah.
And let's just say that those great duck hunters. I'm even going to be generous and say they shoot 150 ducks a year.
Mm-hmm.
Over their lifespan, how many bands statistically will they shoot?
Right.
Because it is so unlikely to shoot a band duck. I watch these YouTube videos, and every single duck that goes down, they're saying, "Is it banded? Is it banded?" I'm like, dude, you have not been hunted very long. If you're hollering to your friend, wondering if it's banded every single duck,
right.
Because I mean, old Fumbles has shot 1 banded duck, and he shot way more ducks.
Right.
Only 1.
Yeah, and he's past 150 ducks.
Oh,
sure.
well, in his lifetime. I was saying per year. Yeah, yeah. You know, he's been around. He's been a little bit unlucky because I've shot both my bands with him. There's been 5 or 6 bands shot when he was there.
I bet you there are more on the geese than the ducks.
I don't know. And I know we shot Corn shot a snow goose that was banded clear up by the Arctic Circle, like Greenland or Iceland.
Do you know what I find is really banded all the time is all of these bald eagles that I shoot, like every weekend.
That's not true.
And they got these like radio.
He does not do that.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's a joke.
That's just a joke.
That's a joke.
In fact, I saw three for the very first time. It was the most amazing thing.
Oh, they're everywhere here. They're everywhere.
They're huge.
Yeah. Yep, they're everywhere.
God bless America. I'd never do that. Never.
I'm glad to see a lot of you saying that you love Drake Valley videos, because he was on last week on our last Q&A, and he's a member over at Partreon, which I would love to see more of you people over there, more of you guys over there. I'll put that link to.
I liked his ice video.
Yeah, his videos are great.
Yeah.
You can still go check them out. I know a lot of you guys went over and looked at his videos. Great guy. In fact, we talked for probably an hour after the show, just talking. We're gonna hunt together sometime, but so Drake Valley Outdoors. Make sure that if you get a chance, check out his.
KU or K-State fan?
Oh, Tim Campbell, K-State fan. I actually feel bad about this one because I should be a K-State fan because K-State people are more my people. They're like farmers, country people.
Right. Of course, right.
Yeah.
You're KU?
Well, I grew up close to K-State, but Danny Manning was playing basketball during my prime, like formative years. And I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he was like the best one of the best basketball players, like other than Wilt Chamberlain, ever played for KU. So I just liked KU, but K-State people are definitely more like me. If you go, and Lawrence is actually the most liberal. I'm not sending my kid to KU. No way. It's like an East Coast city in Kansas. They're not. I don't even like that town, but I do like KU basketball. All right, what else we got here? We're at 7:40.
It's early in the season.
The Hungry Hunter. Did you see how that just whipped through like that?
The deer 243 is my favorite caliber. Sorry, I don't care if it's a caliber for women or that's such a small. If you want a laser shot, no deviation, shoot a deer with a 243. You might have to follow it, but it's all about shot placement.
Ben Hunting says, how would you suggest covering layout blinds on a snowy field with no stubble? I would suggest a white sheet. That's what the Golden Boy and I did. Especially when he and I were out in that field, we had some flocks fly over, and he had one of those really big kind of boxy layout blinds, and I had a Power Hunter blind which lays real sleek and flat to the ground, and he thought that maybe his boxiness of that blind was causing the problem. And a friend of mine, Jason, he does a lot of field hunting, and he feels like that the geese are really getting wary of bigger blinds, and they've been going strictly to white suits and white sheets and stuff like that. So definitely that's the way I would go.
Do you think animals get that educated? Like how many decades will it take before mojos and like spinners are just kryptonite? Like you don't want to touch them at all.
I don't think ever. And I think a lot of times that what takes place is that something bad goes wrong, and birds don't come in, and people are grasping for the reason why. And so they just assume the reason is this one particular thing. And then for the rest of their life, they're saying it.
Yeah.
So let's just say, like an example, when Nate and I went out hunting. I'm not saying that this wasn't true, but this is just as an example. We had a couple of flocks of geese come right over, and we Aiden kind of started to assume that it was his blind. Yeah. Now, what data did he have to support that? The geese didn't come in. That's the only data he didn't have to support that. It could have been they just wanted a different field. It could have been they saw some kind of shine. Who knows? So what happens is people start believing these certain things, and the information kind of travels around the waterfowl community. It's kind of like the clear days, bluebird days are the best for ducks. And everyone starts regurgitating this information.
There's probably,
I don't know how much actual statistical information there is to make these assumptions.
There's probably more data to be found in weather assumptions.
Yeah.
Than anything else, but you're right.
Larry has another one. He says, how many years has Elliott been duck hunting? And Dan, I'll start with myself. Fumbles took me out teal hunting to where we were, Larry, when I was like 15. And I absolutely loved it. And but we didn't even shoot anything, and I just loved it. I don't know what it was about it. We camped out in our pop-up camper and had the best time. And so we were pheasant and quail and prairie chicken and turkey hunters at the time. And so after that, I kept kind of mentioning to my dad, let's duck hunt, let's duck hunt, let's duck hunt. And about the time I was just getting into college, he bought a pointing lab for upland game, but then also was trying to duck hunt. And so once he got that lab, we started duck hunting, and just once we started duck hunting, it's like, oh, that's all we're doing. What about you? So I guess I've been hunting hard from I guess 1990 until now.
And did he start you on a 12 gauge?
By that time, yeah. My first gun was a 12 gauge. Yeah. I mean, I think I started with that same 20 over and over for dove when I was like 13 or 14. But so how about you?
Duck hunting?
Yeah.
1 and 3/4 of a year.
Yeah.
First season.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot to learn. I believe that if I hadn't have met you, I'd be sitting on a bucket on a dike with like 5 boxes of shells, just bam, bam, bam. That's probably the extent of my duck hunting knowledge would be.
Well, you know, one of the things that I really want us to do with freelance duck hunting, because I really feel like there's kind of a community that's growing here. I want all of us to try our best to educate either new hunters or young hunters about some more ethical practices around duck hunting, with sky busting, setting up too close to people. On the discussions, I've got a 5 worst sins of duck hunting, and I think if we all work as a community to kind of educate people, then
like clean house from within rather than laws.
And I've gotten a couple comments lately.
So who likes laws, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that would definitely, if we could kind of educate people from within. I've gotten a couple of comments recently from people just saying that I cry and bitch and moan on the videos and everything. And I'm like, you know what? If people are coming up and setting up 75 yards from me and raining shot on my head, I'm going to gripe. I'm going to complain about that. If that makes me a crybaby, then I'm a crybaby.
Do you remember that one hunt when I was just like kind of nervously saying, is that what I think it is? And you're like, yep. I didn't even finish the sentence. Like, yep. And it was BBs raining down all over us.
Yeah. That's a problem. That's a problem. And if I gripe about that on video a little bit, you know, certainly on the Skybusters video, I didn't really like how I handled myself with yelling at those guys on Hunt 4. I wasn't proud of how I handled myself on that particular one. But if things bother us that we think shouldn't happen on public land, we want to change the culture of public land hunting.
And we're not
perfect. You guys know when
perfect.
people ruin it.
We're not perfect either.
No,
for sure. We're not perfect. We're not trying to say we're saints. There's a whole lot. There's all kinds of things that we can do better. But
sure,
sky, like just bam, bam, bam. That's crazy. And all of the dead and wounded cripples.
Yeah. I mean, these are unethical practices. So, and I'm passionate about that. And I'm not only passionate about duck hunting, I love ducks. I love them. Now, I love the species. I harvest the individuals and we eat them, but I love the species. I don't want ducks to suffer. I don't want them to be wounded.
You follow anything you shoot, you eat rule, don't you?
Yeah, except for one time I shot a pigeon that I was like, oh, why'd I shoot that? Yeah, but I do that. You got to.
We're going to find it and you're going to have to eat it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah. My dad said throwing snow on your blind. Fumble said throwing snow on your blind for that last. That was a good point on it.
But
and we're so far behind what everyone's saying at this point. But.
Virginia Outdoors, I think, said he gets it for $25 a box. The Remington 17 FPS, what store are you buying it for 25?
Is that cheap?
I got ripped off. It was like $32.
Oh, man. That's way too expensive.
Oh, yeah. You're doing federal, aren't you?
Yeah, we got ours for like $10 a box.
Not me.
Yeah, no thanks.
Mine are silver plated,
Yeah.
with my name engraved on every shell. Yeah. That's how expensive they are.
When is the next hunt? Tomorrow morning. Let's see.
So how do you change your number? Like, is it hard? Or?
Dan's phone's still getting blown.
I've heard geese don't like mojos, but in the last video, they were landing right on the mojos.
Here's what I think about it. I have a lot of people have talked about geese not liking mojos, and I don't have that enough experience to say whether that's true or not. But what I do have enough experience on is ice holes, and that's where we're hunting over. And when you get a spot on the river where it's a hole of ice and the birds have been using it and using it and using it and using it, they become really stupid really fast. I've shot mallards just laying out on a sandbar with my dog right beside me, just dropping them. Once they get comfortable with something over an ice hole and stuff, they just get stupid.
Oh man, that was so fun
Yeah,
last week.
that was a fun hunt. That was a fun hunt. We normally in that spot shoot ducks too.
You didn't need Izzy either, did you?
She actually hurt us. She hurt us because there was a time that she went out there and was messing around, wouldn't come back, and more geese were trying to come in. We would have shot at least one more and probably two more if she hadn't been there. But,
well, my kid needed to learn how to drive in the snow, so
yeah.
it all worked out for me.
Yep. All right. Grassland duck hunting. Do you guys have any more travel hunts planned? I enjoy when you took a road trip somewhere for a long weekend. I think it was South Dakota. We do like to go to South Dakota. We did that last year. This year with the boat broken down, we went out to more central Kansas. We do not have any more hunts planned this year. I know with my work, I get 10 days a year that I can take off for whatever I want. And I use about 6 of those for duck hunting, and I save 4 for just other things in case I get sick or whatnot. So we have about 1 hunting trip in us a year that we can do.
You know what, though? We've got an invite to Africa, Ireland, somewhere else, really.
Well, as soon as those people want to pay our ticket, if you're in a foreign country and you want to pay us to come hunt over there, we would happily.
913.
Yeah. What's your opinion on using dove mojos in low light situations, not trying to spend a ton of money? I bet you that would work just fine. That Virginia Outdoors Unlimited mojos, I bet you that would work fine. I think it's just the motion. I think it's just the motion. And if you've ever driven on a road and you see like a spinner or a mojo several hundred yards away, at first glance, it looks like ducks actually landing. Have you ever seen that? It's just that strobe. So I don't think it would make a difference. I wouldn't want to use it probably, but I don't think it makes a difference.
You know what they're going to do? Like 20 years from now, it's going to be holograms. We're not even going to need decoys. It's just going to be just a bunch of holograms. Well, that's my idea. I'm patenting that.
Have you guys used Flicka Flocka's Huntman 01? I don't know what Flicka Flocka's is. I know that I tried to flock my mallard decoys myself one off season.
That's what somebody just said on my phone. You guys really need to flock your decoys.
Here's the problem with us flocking decoys. We are so hard on our stuff. I have some decoys that are flocked, but that stuff does not stay on there very well. You need, like, if you have flocked decoys, you got to treat them like they're little princesses.
We don't do that.
I don't treat anything I own like it's a little princess other than my wife, and she might debate that.
But if there's anybody who could flock a decoy, it'd be your wife.
Yeah.
Painting them, and she's a very talented artist.
But I just can't get them to stay on, so I still have them. Some of them are actually decent.
Yeah. So those of you who flock your decoys, tell us how you actually move them around. Do you buy the little bags with the compartments in them, or?
Yeah. If you're using Texas rigs and you're just dropping them on a stringer and flipping them over your shoulder, I can't imagine those heads not becoming that flocking just popping off there. I just can't. Because I researched it, I actually had a lot of fun doing it.
Oh, you know what?
But I researched like crazy, and it was just.
If you dyed spray foam green, that's how you can do it.
That's him thinking like, man.
If you can take spray foam and dye it green.
Yeah, but I don't know what that has to do with flocking.
It's all fuzzy.
Know
It'll look all fuzzy and like
you think?
hairy. Yeah. Oh man, I'm patenting that too.
Huntman01 says, "Are y'all going turkey hunting again this spring?" And you know what? You know what Golden Boy told me? See, here's another reason why they call him the Golden Boy. They have a farm, and every year he just goes down and shoots 2 turkeys.
Oh man.
And he's got ice fishing on the farm with these ponds. They catch massive fish on these ponds.
You know what though?
He is the Golden Boy.
If we actually,
and we're gonna go camping down there, and we can bring corn with us. We're gonna camp. We're gonna fish. We're gonna shoot turkeys, and we're gonna look for Native American artifacts.
Did he tell you he ice
He's
fishes?
the man.
He ice fishes too.
Yeah, and they catch tons of them. They know right how to do it. Golden Boy's the man.
Do you know what though? We really, every time we go turkey hunting, we really shouldn't get one because why break tradition?
No, that's not true. The first time Dan and I ever went on a turkey hunt, he killed one dead.
Yeah, but we never filmed it though.
Yeah, we weren't from that year. But this year we went on 3 and we didn't scout. We're gonna get more serious about the turkey hunting this year. We're gonna get more serious. If you're gonna turkey hunt, you have to scout. Last year we just kind of went out a couple times. But if you have not seen the turkey hunting videos, go to the 2015 playlist, and those are some hilarious videos. I love our turkey hunting videos. Not hardly many people watch them. They are hilarious. Dan chases cows wildly. He tries to build a fire and fails miserably.
And we appreciate diaper wipes a whole lot more than ever before.
But the turkey videos are great. If you haven't had a chance to see those, make sure that you go do that.
A reverse migration happening soon.
Yep. I agree. Reverse migration will be happening.
6 bands. 1, 6, 0. Yeah, I'm with you. 0.
So Owen says he shot 6 bands, and I believe you. I'm not saying you're not telling the truth, but what I would like to know is kind of how many ducks do you keep track of the number of ducks you shot, and how many total ducks do you think you shot to get that 6?
Owen Dunham.
I would assume to get 6 bands, this is just off the top of my head, you would need several thousand geese or ducks. I mean, there are, I don't remember what there's like something like 3.5 million mallards.
Well, what Owen does is he takes his howitzer and he just fills it with a bunch of nails and just pulls.
I'm just saying, statistically, to get a band, I think you're going to end up with a band 1 out of every 500 ducks.
Oh, look at this. Never shot any bands for my first 5 years. Last 2 years, I've shot 4.
Yeah. Super lucky. Been hunting. He's coming up a lot. Let's see.
Well, then you people need to start playing the lottery.
Yeah. How did Fumbles get his nickname? I'm going to tell this quick because I've told it a bunch. Roy Griffith asked. Okay, because I've told this a bunch, but it's still funny. When I was about 18, a friend and I were going to stay for a camping trip at this little lake, and we had a pop-up camper at the time, and I didn't know how to set it up. And so Fumbles, well, at that time, Carl, came out, and he was helping us set up the pop-up camper. And he was setting it up, and there was a door that came down shut and attached. Somehow he locked himself inside of the pop-up camper. And my friend and I really weren't helping. We were just kind of sitting there relaxing, and which I'm really good at. And all of a sudden I hear from inside the camper, "Carl, you fumble mitts." So he named himself Fumble Mitts.
In first person.
And I think he must have just come up with that name on the fly, because I've never heard that name before. Fumble Mitts.
Patreon squad.
Yeah, I wish. All right, where are we at here? We can. All right, so it is 7:53. I think we're gonna go about 7 more minutes. I'm gonna go to the bottom of this and make sure I'm fresh. So if there's questions at this point that you have asked that I haven't addressed, repost them. I've been trying to go through and hit them. We'll just try to do that.
You're trying to avoid the shooting percentage question. Or did we answer that already?
No, was that on here?
Who's got the best shooting percentage?
But that, okay. Someone asked a question in the announcement video about shooting percentage. And this year, my shooting percentage is much lower. My lifetime average is 43%. My dad's lifetime average is high 30s. This year, he's hovering around 50%, and I'm at about 36%, which is pretty low. But shooting percentage, just to give you guys a background, here's how we gauge our shooting percentage. We take a belt of shells with us, 24, and so we do not count shots at cripples on the water. And any duck that we actually see wounded go down counts as a shot duck, but not a harvested duck. And I think that if you think that you shoot 70 or 80%, I would say that you don't keep track of how many shells that you shoot.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that you shoot 60% a year, you're not keeping track.
It's a sobering fact, right?
Yeah.
about how many you actually.
I see people saying that they shoot 70%. You're not paying attention, because here's what happens. Okay, if you shoot your first 2 ducks, bam, bam, you're 2 for 2.
Right.
If you then go 0 for 3 on your next one, you're 2 for 5. That's 40%.
Right.
If you go 0 for 3 a couple times on a hunt, you're under 50% that hunt.
That's hard.
And so if you're sitting here saying, "Well, I shoot 70%," you start keeping track.
That's a hard thing to do. 70%.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Larry's got it.
And the best hunter, well, Larry actually, I don't know what he shoots, but
Drake Valley Outdoors. I cried when I tried to start keeping my.
Yeah, that's right. I'm serious. But if people really keep track of their stats, they will tell you if you can shoot 50%, you're doing awesome. Yeah. You're doing awesome. Yeah. And Larry, actually, he keeps track of shots on cripples too.
But okay, freelance duck hunting community. I think every season we should do like a competition, like whoever's the lowest score has to do something. Or
that would be you.
No, I'm beating you by 1%. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think you are too.
Unless you don't count those 3 that I would just went bam, bam, bam and missed. I think we should do something. But what would it be? Would it be jumping in an icy river?
You keep talking about that. You did that last year for free.
Was it icy? Oh yeah, no, that was one. I exchanged my waders, by the way, with no hassle. Go Bass Pro shop.
And I have not addressed this again, but I don't know if some of you have seen the problem I had with waders last year. I did several videos on my waders. After 16 hunts, my waders from Rogers leak in the crotch now. After 16 hunts. So I'm sure they're going to give me a new pair, but I cannot find a pair of waders that last me more than a full year.
Stay away from neoprene. I'm religious about that.
Your waders leaked as quick as mine.
I got it. I know, but that was because I directly jabbed my leg into.
But we always do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but neoprene is so much more.
I don't know. Dan's in it. I don't know. We'll see that.
We go back up. There's something good here.
Do coot decoys help? While you do that, do coot decoys help lure ducks? Yes or no? I guess so. I mean, I see ducks landing with coots, so I don't know. I guess I've never had it.
What do you guys hope to increase, create, improve upon during the off season and leading into next season? What a great question that is.
That's Red Roof Retriever. And you know what? Red Roof Retriever, actually, he sent me an email, and he came up with the FDH.
Nice job.
Idea. He wrote me this whole email about all these ideas and everything, and some of the ideas we were kind of moving that direction, but he kind of kicked me in the butt about getting some of the stuff.
The logo,
yeah.
Okay, so this is what I've been thinking, Red Roof Retriever, while all my buddies are hunting and I'm stuck at work. I was thinking this. Okay, we should create some kind of a list to cut down on all the weight we bring in.
Yeah.
Like a vital list, ammo, waders, this, whatever, and then. We should have like a deep water decoy bag just sitting there. We should have like to go for particular hunts already inventoried and already in. Like what if you had a string of weights with 8 feet of rope just ready to go on?
It's like different sets
just in case, you know.
I'm gonna tackle Red Roof Retriever's question a little bit differently. I'm gonna look at like the FDH freelance duck hunting side of it, the non-hunting side of it, and here are the things that I have planned on the non-hunting side. I've got a web developer working on a website where you will easily be able to keep your own statistics. An easy way to manage it, and it'll be sortable so you can check all your stats. I've got that in the process. I've got a couple of duck call makers lined up to sell their duck calls on the website, so that we can start offering that. I want to grow Partreon more. I really want to see the community build more. I think these live chats are a great way to build community.
I want to see what people's ideas are about how to reduce wanton waste.
Yeah.
I want to see more, ideas, not so much for legislation, but how we can just be a better hunt people.
Wyatt Johnson says, I find myself, he's been talking about shooting into large groups. And we talked about that recently when we had a huge bunch of teal came in. And you know what? I really think that I shot 2 with 1 shot on that pass.
Of course.
On that, you can see 2 just crumble.
Because you had a full choke and it just probably just wiped out anything that it hit.
Yeah. So, and actually we've been playing around with bringing our chokes with us and changing chokes around mid-hunt. I need to do a better job of documenting that. I've moved from an improved to a modified, and the one day where we were getting ducks to circle around in front of us and finish out farther, I actually moved to a full choke just because our shots were a little farther than what I want to be. Let me go back to this question real quick, and then we'll go to that. But as far as the large groups, can be extremely difficult to pick out an individual bird. But if you don't pick out an individual bird, you're going to hit birds much less often. So you've got to try. Yeah, if you flock shoot, your chance of hitting a bird goes down.
So in the flock, you have to try to at least look for a bird. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, here, this is what I was thinking with flock shooting. If you flock shoot, you should keep your muzzle on the same trajectory and go bam, bam, bam as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Instead of going bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I've had multiple comments about the FDH hat again, and I just want to remind you, freelanceduckhunting.com. We've got the blues and we've got the grays, and we have t-shirts. And I wasn't that thrilled with the t-shirts, but when you match them with the hat, they look really good.
Which one's the limited edition, blue or gray?
We have less blue in stock, if that's what you mean.
All right.
We got the blue in stock. And so, yeah. And, Red Roof Retriever is actually the one that wanted us to sign the hats.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
He was one of the very free. I don't know if he's the first person to buy a hat, but he was right up there. Our bigger size decoys better by far off ducks. I think so. I know we had some magnums that we used. And I think that bigger works well.
And it's brighter and there's more detail in them, I think, because there's more of a platform to draw or whatever. No?
I guess so.
I have.
Well, is there anything else we want to address before we've been going an hour, and this is sitting right here.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat that.
No, you ate yours. Sit there and stuff your face right in the middle.
That was really good. Yeah.
I bet you were there all like, gosh, Dan, wipe your mouth. You got a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I think a little piece fell down my shirt.
Dang.
Wait, what's the number 1 piece of advice you'd have for duck hunters?
Where's
the number 1 is scroll up. Yeah, said what's the number 1?
All right. Well, number 1 piece of advice I would give for duck hunters is study what you're doing and watch that video on 5 Sins of Duck Hunting and follow those. Guys that duck hunt are generally good guys, but the problem happens is when you bust your butt to get in someplace and you get into a situation where either you're going to set up too close to someone or you're going to have to walk out, people just aren't disciplined enough to say, you know what? I walked a mile and a half in here. If I set up, it's going to screw those guys. You get thinking, I don't know what to do. I got to set up somewhere. So you set up. You have to be disciplined enough to say, I got to leave. Or you have to be disciplined enough to say, these ducks aren't decoying today. I'm not going to shoot 80-yard shots and wing and cripple. You just have to decide on what your ethics are ahead of time and then just follow them whether they're easy to or not.
Oh, okay. What about ducks that are flaring?
You're not hidden enough. Kolish says, number 1 word of advice for ducks that are flaring. You're not hidden enough. Conceal yourself. That's what it is. Conceal yourself, which is hard. And Dan actually really helps me at that because I get lazy out there. She's like, oh, come on, let's just set up and go. And it's like, no, take that extra time. Because sometimes what I'll do is I'll make small adjustments and because there's ducks flying and I want to go, instead of like, all right, let's take an extra 10 minutes, do it right, and then shoot them where we want them versus quickly, half-heartedly get it done and then still have the same problem. But if they're flaring you, you're not hidden enough.
But this is how Elliott needs help with the camo. Jeez, I think I'm really flaring these ducks right now. Gosh, I think I need some. Okay, Elliott, I'll get you some. I'll be right back.
I don't intentionally do that. Tim Campbell, ever fixed the boat yet? I have been griping at Fumblements about this because my mom is a bulldog, and I keep telling him, let her call them. Because if she gets on the phone with those guys, it's going to get done.
Hell hath no fury, right?
Fumbles is so nice. And I'm sure he's so non-confrontational. He's like, well, yeah, okay. If he would let my mom call those idiots.
He's a nice guy.
So there is actually progress being made on the boat. And fingers crossed, we might actually have it in January. Maybe. But actually, they're waiting on a couple parts that are supposed to be in. They've got a lot of work done on it.
Yeah,
yet.
well, they're sending the parts in like components. They're not even putting the circuitry together.
Yeah. Yep. So, all right, this questions repeat. Do you want to go a little bit longer, or I'm getting kind of tired and hungry?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks good. I'm gonna eat that.
You're not touching it.
Just a little piece. Anything that falls out of your sandwich, I'll take.
All right. So, but this as a repeat question is albino. We saw an albino teal one time, and it didn't come in. But I've never shot anything albino. Fumbles and I saw an albino teal, but that group never came in, and that's as close as you get.
If you do, you should set it up in a taxidermy thing. You should get it stuffed.
And Red Roof Retriever wants to know, is this going to be every Thursday? You know, I have this weird fear of commitment about things.
Yeah, me
and
too.
it's like the idea of saying it's happening every Thursday and me having to do it every Thursday gives me anxiety. But I would say that I definitely, for the short term, want to do this at least every Wednesday or Thursday until from now to the end of the season. So these live chats, certainly I'm going to try to do either every, I don't know what the date is of next Thursday, but at least every Wednesday or Thursday from here on out. And I really probably need to set it, scheduling thing. I just hate being hammered in like that.
I would like to do a live hunt with or live chat with like a wildlife guy.
Yeah.
You know, like a Kansas wildlife or.
Yeah. Someone wants Golden Boy the next interview. That'd be good.
That's what I'm saying.
I haven't had fumbles in either. And I know we could, so yeah, we'll look at that kind of stuff. So this is the last question we're going to answer. Because Rampage Impact came in late. And so if I missed your question, I apologize. We've been doing our best to hit all these. But yes, we will be hunting this weekend. But Rampage Impact. Sorry I came a little late, so I have one question. What's the best bet for these late time ducks, a river, field, or bust some ice to open up a hole? That it just completely depends on the situation. I only like to bust ice holes. I was telling Dan this. You cannot just go out and bust an ice hole any old time. You have to have ducks in the area. I like breaking ice holes either right when it freezes, but even better than that is right when you think it's about to start coming off the marshes and you have a warm up and you think ducks are going to be there looking for it. If you don't have ducks in the area looking for it, they're not going to come to an ice hole.
And when you bust up the hole, how do you do it?
The way I bust a hole is I think of it as a circle, but I go right down the middle, and then half of the circle I try to push that whole sheet out and under the ice.
Big,
and the other
big
circle,
chunks, right?
hole out and over. And as far as river or field, find the ducks. We've actually been able to do a little more scouting lately. Find the ducks, see where they're at. So we hunted a field and a river last weekend. The field was no good. The river did well in. Fumbles and Golden Boy hunted a river this morning, didn't do well. So we're going to go to a reservoir tomorrow. That's what we're going to do.
It's nice.
So
I'm going to go to work tomorrow.
Yep, he's going to go to work. But I'll text you. So I think we're going to stop it at that point. We've gone an hour and 8 minutes. I really, really appreciate you guys being part of the community and all your support and your wonderful comments.
Absolutely.
Several questions again on the hat. Go to freelanceduckhunting.com. And I'll put that link when I'm done. When this video goes up, I'll have some links. I will put a link into the discussion videos. I have the discussion videos broken into topics. So check those out. And I'll have the Patreon link in there as well. And I know that Drake saw the mallard. I don't know word to use for it.
The
mallard penis video. And people that watch that die laughing. I didn't put that on here because
wait, say that again. The mallard what?
The mallard penis video.
Right.
Because I didn't know mallards had penises. Apparently they do. And we've got it on video.
They're like this
they're
big.
so long. Fumbles grabbed it and went.
They're like.
So anyway, I put that on Patreon because I am an elementary school teacher, and sometimes my students watch these things.
I still can't believe that actually happened.
That was crazy. So it's only about a 2-minute video. It's on Patreon over there.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna switch that video. That video is so good. I'm gonna give you guys the Patreon link, and I'm gonna switch that video to just like public can watch it over there. So give me like 15 minutes, and I will actually. I'll link it.
And you'll never see a
Here's what-
mallard in the same way ever
No.
again.
I'm gonna go ahead and put the link on this video. Give me 10 minutes or so to do it when this thing
How
goes.
does that even work biologically?
I don't know.
Like, how does that even?
It's like it's weird. It's like a corkscrew. But anyway,
So they gotta back up.
all right, shh, just shush.
Somebody give me the birds and the bees speech right away. Right away.
Are you done?
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna put the link over to Patreon. Go over there, and you can typically you would have to pay like I don't know $1 to watch it or something. But I'm gonna put it over there totally free because you guys have got to see that video. So watch it and comment on it. It's crazy. But anyway, that's all we've got for today. Good luck hunting. Next hunt video should be coming out hopefully within 2 days from now. We're gonna hunt up tomorrow.
I'm not even gonna
So
watch.
Christmas
I'm not
Day,
even
day
gonna
after
watch
Christmas,
the video.
something like that. But I'm gonna shut it down now. Anything else you want to say?
Love you guys.
All right. Bye guys. Thanks.
Can't even watch that video. I could barely watch you guys.